Hey everyone on YouTube, Visa Trade here. I know I keep doing these day ones where it's kind of boring and you get to look at my wonderful view. Got some clouds coming in. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about fear. I don't know, it just seems ridiculous in society these days. Like, we seem to be fearing the wrong thing. And I also want to talk about homosexuality a little bit, but not much. But it kind of relates into two. But anyway, and whether it's right according to God or whatever. But anyway, well, so yeah, about the homosexuality thing. So, it's like the, don't judge others, lest thee be judged thyself, And yeah, the Bible tells us not to, all right? I get it, all right? And a lot of people are like 100% on the Bible, Personally, I think the prophecies might be off a bit. I think I've explained this before, we're calling the Antichrist, basically Hitler, but we don't really know. It's all prophecies, and prophecies is basically, I was arguing with my buddy last night. Prophecies are basically the same thing as witchcraft with a crystal ball. Gypsies telling the future. except apparently it's there. I don't know what the hell, but I think it's a little contradictory and a little probably has some shit filled with it. You know what I mean? You gotta take it with a grain of salt. It's shit with some salt. But look, the Bible says not to. Anybody that goes by the Bible can say, nah, dude, there's no way you're getting to heaven if you're homosexual. And I can't make that call, So, it's up to you whether you want to gamble that or not, just so you get your, rocks off or whatever you want to do by being homosexual. But, anyways, that isn't the point. The point is, going back to what I was talking about, we prophesize the Antichrist as this really scary thing, that, we should go back in time and kill him like Hitler, But here's the thing, like, I don't know if you notice the way society's developing, but I remember back in like 2000-ish, something like that, people were scared, like, poopless about, these prophecies coming about, and, they were starting to happen, some of them, I haven't seen any, like, three-headed dragons lately. I don't know about you, but, maybe you're high on acid, you see three-headed dragons, but I don't know what the hell. I just know somewhere in Revelations there's a three-headed dragon. Anyway, I don't understand the whole thing. I don't really want to understand the whole thing because, you can't really just, like, nail it down and be like, this is exactly what's going to happen, I get a few things are probably going to happen in those things, but... And here's the main part, is by conjuring up all these things. Like I was saying, back in 2000, people were so fearful of this thing. And they're not anymore. I don't know why. But it was like, oh, the mark of the beast, 666, and like, pick up sticks, and, they're gonna put a chip in your arm, and that's gonna be your currency. And I'm like, why is that like such a thing to fear? Because it's like, associated with the end of the world. What's wrong with the end of the world? Like, what's wrong with this whole thing? Doing, the proper apocalypse or whatever you want to call it. And this is the thing, is I don't think it's going to turn out like it's prophesized. And I don't think that the Antichrist is as it's prophesized either. What if the Antichrist was actually sent by God, right? And his only job was just to make it so that, I don't know, the meek inherit some earth. You know, it's like it doesn't have to be this one, but it's just so silly, dude. The whole friggin' thing. And this is the thing, is he was even explaining, like, it's sometimes it's confused, like a hellhound is controlled by Satan. And I guess if you really think about it, the hellhound or Cerberus or whatever prevents souls from escaping hell and coming back to the earth. So technically, Satan would kind of want that if you think about it. Let's have a zombie going on, some asshole going around possessing people by pointing at him. It's straight out of hell, So if you think about it, it's actually controlled by God or, some, positive entity, the Cerberus or whatever. Anyway, so he was saying, it was, so I'm just saying things are confused. And I don't get why everybody's so damn scared of whatever's going to happen. Because whatever's going to happen will happen some way, We've already, kind of delved into the concept of multiverses, We're already fucking around with quantum computing and AI. So, in some timeline, I'm sure, I hope there's not multiple timelines. I hope this is the only one. Because I'm just going to sit back and eat some popcorn and laugh at what the fuck's going on, because it's getting stupider and stupider. I was talking about the idiocracy thing. It's just getting really dumb. And so I don't know, I was just the fear concept. It's I think people are so afraid these days, crazy people or whatever the hell, that they don't even treat each other like decent, halfway human beings, I don't know if I talked about this in one of my past vlogs, but it's just, and as much as I say I don't like people and I hate people and whatever, I'm a misanthrope, if somebody comes knocking on my door, even out here in the desert, in the middle of the night, I might answer, the door with a bulletproof vest and, a crossbow, but I'm going to at least have the decency to ask them what they need. Because obviously they need something. And, help. You know what I mean? Like, and that has happened before. Somebody, their car broke out here or whatever. They needed a jump start. I helped them out twice. But I swear, it's just, it's getting to the point where it's just like, strangers won't even, like, if a stranger approaches, a normal person, like, the person will be like, get the fuck out of here, go away, Damn, dude. You can't, at least say, dude, can I help you with something, No. It's their first reaction because they're so fucking afraid of something. I don't know what it is, but I started thinking about that and, the whole crossbow thing and everything. I'm like, what have I got to be afraid of? If somebody rolls up and just says, I want your shit, and shoots me, that's all she wrote for me, dude. I get a free ticket to heaven, it's all good. Maybe not directly to heaven, but you get the concept of it, It's like, if the only goal is to go to heaven, like, why am I even concerned? But anyway, and I'm going to put up a fight, don't get me wrong, but it's the concept of it. It's just, you got to roll with the punches a little bit and have a little bit of, like, common decency, and I think it's just, we're just all in such fear. And this is the thing, is people are fearing the wrong thing. Like, people fear other people, right? Strangers and shit, right? But when it comes to, like, I don't know, stealing somebody's fucking rims off their car because it's been sitting there for 5 days, no fear at all. Borrowing money from a, I don't know, acquaintance or whatever, and just not paying them back, not afraid at all. these are the things we should be fearing, is doing, morally incorrect things and having the wrath of God upon us, No, we don't fear those anymore. So, it's gonna get bad before it gets better. I know it will, But man, it's just strange. Just watching it. It's just like, man. And then the whole COVID thing, it was like, that was just seeing, I guess, what America could put up with. How much of, cattle are we that, sit around, munch on grass while shit's hitting the fan? And according to COVID, quite a lot, Not me, though. I fucking bugged out. I got the fuck out of town, went into a small town. I wish it was in the middle of nowhere, but it's really hard to find the middle of nowhere. I ran so far away, couldn't get away. But, yeah. That's what I did. I was like, dude, there's going to be civil unrest, dude. This is not good. You're forcing people to wear masks. You got, it's a freaking virus that people die from on a whim. It's really easy to catch, toilet paper, But that's it. That's where it stopped, That was very interesting. And my, my friend had passed away a while ago, but he claimed, he was like, dude, the first thing, dude, it's gonna be toilet paper. He even knew it, but it didn't really go past that. It was really interesting. It just stopped at toilet paper, and I just made do. Toilet paper, get out of here. But yeah, it's interesting, this whole fear behind the whole thing, They make the Antichrist out to be this, like, entity from Satan and this whole thing, and I'm like, what if he isn't from Satan? What if he's just not Christ, and he's, supposed to, like, save humanity from itself? Make it so we can, put a bow on top of this, end of the world thing or whatever. Put a little cherry on there, just perfect it, Make it so it's not just a shit sandwich. Make it a nice ice cream sundae, Because I just, I don't know how the whole thing's supposed to go down, and I don't really want to know. I don't think. But I don't know. It seems ridiculous to me that we fear something so much that we won't even want to let it happen, Like, dude, I think it's going to happen no matter what, And I recently did watch Mr. Nobody again, and I don't know, it was on, who was it, on Hulu, I think? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was just the concept of this kid who had three ways to go. He could either get lost in the woods, and run away from home. He could catch the train and meet his mother, or he could stay with his father. And, he couldn't decide, And the thing is time kind of, I think there's a quote somewhere in some, music or something. What is it? Time grabs us by the wrist, tells us where to go. Yeah. So, and in that split decision second, like, time, apparently froze, and this kid's brain went into three different directions. And because it went into these three different directions, it, basically branched out three trees with a bunch of, like, branches and alternate, whatchamacallits, scenarios or whatever. And right at the end, like, it's showing, like, well, not right at the end, but towards the end, it's the old grandpa that's like 116 years old or something, and he's like the last human soul that hasn't gone through some sort of quantum upgrade or something that makes people last, forever. They never die, never age. And that guy just, time gets to the point where it closes in on itself. The universe is expanding, and the whole concept is the Big Bang, and then the universe will only expand to a certain point, and then it closes it, and then it reverses time and closes back in. And anyway, I really dug the pigeon superstition thing at the beginning. I think that was one of the really good points in that movie. And it showed how bright pigeons are. Like, it just like showing like old tests of pigeons, and this pigeon like sees like this apple on the opposite side of the cage, but the cage is so small it can't flap its wings. And then there's a block, like a little, toy block on the other side of the cage. And this pigeon, like, it's just like messing around with this thing, trying to get this thing. And then it starts realizing, it's like, dude, there's got to be something I can do to get that thing, I want to eat, it like moves it ends up, it tries to jump and extend its neck and grab the thing, but it's too high. And so it ends up figuring it out, and it moves the block over to the apple or whatever, and just, gets up on the block and eats the apple. It's interesting how intelligent animals are. But yeah, pigeon superstition, like they were explaining that the reason it's called that is because they did a test, and I guess it's, you just can do this test repetitively and it does the same thing. But a pigeon will, like, if there's like an automatic timer to get its food or whatever, a treat or whatever, and the pigeon's like surprised and flaps its wings when the timer opens the door, the pigeon will think that by flapping its wings the door opens, but it's just on a timer, but it thinks that it's triggering it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and then it like explains the butterfly effect and some other stuff, but it kind of puts it into perspective. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it's just interesting, like, like literally right at the end when the guy dies, he's just about to die, and it's like the world just like comes apart, like all the towers and everything in the city just disappear. And it's like, it's funny, it's like a bunch of Sikorskis or some kind of helicopters, and they're maybe Chinooks, and they're carrying around cargo crates because it's like, I don't know, storage or something. I don't know what the deal is behind that, but it was cool because it was kind of like a documentary at the same time. But yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a good movie to watch. But it's what the things are based on, the vlogs. Because I'm nobody. I'm not really seeking like attention or anything. I'm just living life, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm content. I can't get any better than this, dude. Once you get to the point where you don't really have to do anything all day to stay alive, and there's like basically zero risk of like losing everything, you get to figure out who you are. You get to suffer from loneliness and boredom and all that fun stuff, but at the same time, you can't get any better. Anyways, I can't remember what vlog this is. I think it's 36. It could be 37. I'll double check. But I hope you enjoyed the chat. If you enjoyed it, give me a like. If you want to hear more of it, give me a subscribe. But yeah, it's just mostly just concepts and stuff and Antichrist talk and you know stuff. I mean, it's not really like very relatable or anything, but I don't know. Anyways, stay safe, stay sane, and hope you have a great day.